Recently, I had to help my father with a problem that he had in his computer. Mind you, my father is neither tech-savvy nor does he speak any other language other than Greek, of course. So when he asked for my help, I knew I had to step in. The problem, however, was not easy to solve. On the monitor, there was a critical error with a huge red X icon and a lot of zeros and numbers that made absolutely no sense. Not an easy task to undertake. So I made myself a coffee, sat down and opened my favorite search engine. As I was searching the internet for information, my father's complaining about technology and how everything is in English these days came into my mind. At that very moment, I came to a realization. I realized that had I not been able to speak English, a lot of the information that I have access to on a daily basis would not have been available to me. Now this is something that I never gave it much thought, because I started learning English at a young age, and speaking English has been part of my life since my early teenage years. At the same time, I tried to think how my life would have been if I did not speak any English at all, and the picture I painted myself was not a nice one. For example, had I wanted to learn something new, I would have had to wait for a book being written in my native language in order to learn the latest techniques in a specific subject. And this, of course, is not always guaranteed to happen. If I had a problem, like my father did, then I would have to search the internet, praying that there would be a Greek-speaking guy who had faced exactly the same problem and had found a solution, and of course he would have to be kind enough to share his solution with the rest of the world in a forum or something similar. So reason number one, yes, learn a new language because it gives you access to a wealth of information. I spent quite some time of my life living abroad. This time abroad gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of people from different countries. The more people I met, however, and the more I interacted with them, the more I realized that I have a lot of stereotypes in my head about how these people should be and how these people should behave, or to be more precise, how I expected them to behave. This led me to the realization that unfortunately, sometimes I might be prejudiced without even knowing it. It's unbelievable how the mass media and the opinion of the world affects us in ways that we don't even realize. Had I not been able to speak a foreign language that allows me to communicate with people from different countries, I would have continued living in my narrow-minded world and let others do the thinking for me. So to generalize a little bit, people who speak other languages are more open to other cultures and have less prejudice. To say this in another way, it is said that we fear what we don't know. When we are not able to understand the other person, we won't be able to overcome any prejudices or fears that we have about his culture. By being able to communicate, we at least get a chance to discuss and exchange ideas, and who knows, we might even be able to find some common ground. So reason number 2, learn a new language because it makes you a better person. And this is not the only benefit, of course. When you interact with foreign people, you are exposed to other ways of thinking. This is also something beneficial because while growing up, we learn to do things a certain way. This is not necessarily good or bad, it is how it is. But by being exposed to other ways of thinking, we might come to the realization that the way we have been doing things up until now is not the best, or at least suboptimal. So we get the chance to reconsider, to rethink things, and sometimes even introduce positive changes into our lives. I will try to make this point a bit more clear with an example. A lot has been said about the Finnish educational system and its effectiveness. I will not go into many details, you can find a lot of information online, but I will pick out one point. Finnish students in elementary school tend to get a lot less homework than students in other countries, and yet they seem to perform pretty good academically. This at first might seem counterintuitive, because most people think more studying means better academic performance. But as Finland has proven, more is not always better. Now this does not mean that everyone should move to Finland if they are planning to have children. It only means that sometimes there's another way, a better way, a way that you might not have known unless of course you have access to people from other cultures. At the same time, we should not forget that the new and the different will not necessarily be better. but at least we will be able to appreciate what we have or how things are now. So reason number 3. Learn a new language because you are exposed to different ways of thinking. Of course, we should never underestimate the business opportunities that come along with learning a new language. In general, English has become the lingua franca of the business world. But if you want to work in other countries, you should be able to speak the native language as well. I was raised in Greece, but for quite some time I have been living and working abroad. At the same time, I also speak the language of the country I live in, and to be honest with you, I truly believe that I get a lot more job offers compared to people who only speak English and don't speak the native language. So speaking English is of course good, but never underestimate the opportunities you would be getting by speaking the language of the country you live in. So reason number 4. Learn a new language because of the business opportunities it opens. Now imagine you are at the airport and you are going through the baggage controller, and all of a sudden there is a problem. However, no one speaks your native language and you speak no other language as well, so you have no way to understand what is going on. I think in a situation like that, the average person would be getting a lot of stress, even when the problem would be something trivial, such as forgetting to remove some coins from your pockets. All of this of course could have easily been avoided if the person having the problem was able to speak even some basic words in an international language. No need to be an expert, just some understanding of some keywords that are used in situations like that would have sufficed. So, reason number 5. Learn a language because it makes traveling easier. Have you ever wanted to study abroad? Maybe do a master's or even a PhD in another country? Have you ever been fascinated with the educational system of another country and you would like to give it a try? Well, guess what? If you don't speak another language, you won't be able to do that. So, reason number 6. Learn a language because it makes it possible to study abroad. Speaking a foreign language requires effort from your part. It requires that you use different parts of your brain to recall vocabulary that you have learned, which you then put in a logical order so that you form sentences that make sense. This of course is not an easy task, and in order to perform it successfully, you will need to have a good healthy brain, which brings me to my next point. There are a lot of studies who support the idea that learning another language helps prevent cognitive decline and even dementia, and at the same time enhances one's cognitive abilities. So reason number 7. Learn a language because of the cognitive benefits. Usually, it is easier to get along with a person who speaks the same language as you and you had similar experiences, or you were raised in a certain way. But who says this might not happen with a person from another country as well? However, in order to close the distance and overcome the intercultural barrier, you would first have to speak the same language. So reason number 8. Learn a language because who knows, you might find love in another country. Now imagine you are with some friends and some people join in that you don't know. Somehow, someone mentions that you speak a difficult foreign language. In my opinion, there is a high probability that you will be getting questions like, why did you choose to learn this language? Have you ever been to the country where the language is being spoken? If at the same time you are really fluent, then their curiosity will rise even more. How did you manage to learn such a difficult language so well? How do you study? People are attracted to whatever is interesting. Speaking another language, well, makes you indeed interesting. The natives will be even more impressed and at the same time more willing to interact with you. They will feel more comfortable around you and more relaxed. This person speaks my language. I can understand him and he understands me. He probably knows a thing or two about my culture. He seems to be pretty cool as well. I would really like to know this person better. Thoughts like that are not uncommon, and believe me, when you are in another country and you know nothing and no one, having other people like you is not something to underestimate. So reason number 9. Learn another language because it makes you a more interesting person. Finally, learning a new language can put some extra joy in your life. As long as the learning experience is fun, I think learning a new language will make you more happy because of all the new opportunities and experience you will be getting by speaking the language. For all these reasons and many more, do yourself a favor and learn a new language. Do you agree with my list? Do you have other reasons why you think someone would like to learn a new language? Then I would be more than happy to hear them. Please write them in the comments below. Until the next lesson, see you around.